everyone, I'm Megan Remblack and welcome to my channel, Meg Rem Softball. In this video, I'm going to talk about the do's and don'ts of throwing, and I'm going to show you a couple drills that you can do to work on perfecting that good throwing motion. So I've actually done a video before on how to throw a softball. You can click the link here. It'll just give you a little recap, the basics of throwing. So we're going to build off that. Just a little recap, when we throw, our elbows are up, palms are down. And the reason for that, when I field a ground ball, I go field, center of my body. When I separate, I'm in this motion before I throw. If you're outfield, you go catch a fly ball, you get to this motion before you throw. So every drill that we do, you should, for the most part, have your elbows up, palms down. When we go to throw, so in this motion here, I call this my U shape. So it's kind of like a U. I go from my U shape to my L shape, okay? And so you can see I've got like an L shape, 90-degree angle with my elbow. It's not gonna be perfect 90 degrees, but I just go U to L to keep it basic. When I throw, I wanna keep my body nice and compact. And what I mean by that, when I go to throw, I don't want my chest to fly open and my arm to get away from me. I don't want everything to kind of get mushy and drop. I wanna go from here to where I'm still kind of close with my front side and my elbow is even with my shoulder. I wanna keep this elbow up. When I start to come through, my elbow is gonna lead just a little bit. I'm gonna feel that pull in my armpit. And then when I throw, I am going to be releasing pretty much even with my head. And when I throw, my forearm is kind of gonna whip forward and my arm is coming all the way across my body. And again, you can click the how to throw a softball video just to give a little recap on that. So the do's and don'ts of throwing. First thing that I see, and again, this is my personal preference, and I'm gonna tell you the reasons why I'm not a fan of a couple of these drills. So the first thing are wrist snaps or wrist flicks, whatever you wanna call them. A lot of teams do this, and the reason I'm not a fan of this, when girls will start here facing their partner and flick their wrist, couple things. The biggest thing, we don't throw and come here and release the ball. That's shot putting the ball. We don't want to shot put the ball. We want to keep it here, and we always release outside of our body. And I know a lot of coaches have told me, well, you know, it's good to feel the wrist snap or the wrist flick. Well, that's another thing too. I'm just not a huge fan because when you throw, I'm not flicking my wrist down. I'm kind of throwing my forearm, and my wrist will snap, but it's not flicking down. So that's another reason. I can understand the reason behind it. I'm just not a fan of doing something like doing wrist snaps when you don't do that in your throw. So, not a fan of wrist snaps. Another thing is, you know, I see a lot of girls before, it's like, okay, get warm with your partner. They're here, and then they're just doing this. So it's kind of the same thing, like those wrist snaps. They're doing a whole motion, but they're starting to flip in front of their body. Same thing, we don't want to throw and then get here and snap our wrist. So if we're not going to do that in our throw, let's just get away from it. Practicing that. So if you want to stay square to your partner, take your bottom half out of it, go ahead and twist, keep that left shoulder in line with your target, and then when you throw nice and easy, come across your body. So we're gonna take the bottom half out of it. You can feel that little twist that you need to in your core and your obliques, and then when you come around, you're nice and long. So that's my don'ts. So now here are some drills that you can do to work on your throw. This first one, and the one that I am a big advocate on, is long toss. So the importance of long toss is to strengthen our arm and to increase our range of motion and get our whole body involved. So I do this before every single practice. Do it on your own if you don't have practice. Eventually you're gonna build up to be able to throw the ball very far. Starting out, if you've never done long toss before, you probably won't make it very far. But again, the more you do it, you'll build up strength in that shoulder. So how long toss works, everyone does it differently. This is how I personally do it. I don't run up to the throw. I don't do a crow hop before I throw. I'm a righty. All I do is I walk into it. I go right, left, throw. So those are my steps. Now, talk about what my body is doing. When I go long toss, I want to increase my range of motion, and that's another reason why I love doing long toss. It kind of airs everything out. It gets my entire shoulder involved, my entire body involved. So when I go long toss, I'm getting my shoulder or my arm back, and then as I throw, I'm coming all the way across my body. I want to be able to use my legs. When I finish, I'm coming long, my chest is down. And another thing too, the biggest thing when doing long toss is not throwing line drives. We want to make sure we have a lot of air under those balls because again, we're increasing our range of motion. So as I throw, getting the ball back, I throw, I'm nice and long, I'm using my whole entire body. So this is what long toss will look like full speed. So another drill that you can do to work on keeping your elbow up and back is going through that motion about 2 times before you throw a ball. So for the girls who drop their shoulder or they drop their elbow, fall back, whatever it may be, this is a good one for them. You'll go from this U shape, you're gonna go from the U to the L, and you're gonna feel your front side stay closed and your elbow is gonna stay even with your shoulder. The more times you do it, that good muscle memory will kick in. It's all about feeling. So going slow, feeling this, that will help eventually. Once you go full speed, you won't have to think about it as much. So you'll do this motion 2 times, 1, 2. On the third one, you'll go ahead and throw. So another great drill that you can do to work on keeping that elbow up, feeling that proper throwing motion. For the girls who drop the elbow, if they come down, go ahead and hold out a bat or something long right under their elbow, maybe not touching it, but about right under to where they have to keep their their elbow higher than that object in order to keep that U shape instead of coming down here. So they'll just start in this the U shape that they have, their their front shoulder, front hip are in line with their target. You're gonna have that object right below their elbow, they'll throw it. And then that way they can really make sure it's a good visual for them to keep that elbow up. And this is what it'll look like full speed. So one last drill that you can do to, again, perfect this throwing motion is find a wall. You can put your forearms up. You'll be about this far away. You're gonna go ahead, go in your U shape. You're gonna start your motion, so you're going from the U shape. You're gonna go to your L shape. You're gonna let that ball kind of skim the wall, and then you're gonna stop. So you should feel that pull in your armpit, and the wall is gonna stop you. So maybe for the girls who drop their elbow or the ball gets away from them, this drill is a good drill to do in order to keep that body and that ball a little more compact, closer to the body. And then also making sure that we can feel, and I'm gonna keep my glove down here so you can see, you can feel going from U to L. You'll go forward just a little bit until you can't anymore to feel that pull, and you'll see that my elbow is leading that ball just a little bit. So again, go through this very slow, U, L, go forward, and then you'll feel the correct motion.